All right, welcome to Gray's Academy 201 Dashboard Studio. Today we're gonna just have some fun. We got Splunk Conf coming up next week, and we're just gonna kind of relax and kind of get into the rhythm of everything, thinking about all the upcoming excitement of Conf next week. So let's go ahead and get started. Forward-looking statement. If you need to read that, please pause and read that. Hey, I'm Gray Juba. I'm a technical marketing manager here at Splunk. I focus on industries. I'm formerly an automation and controls engineer, Splunker for over 3 years. Actually, 4 years. I needed to update that. 4 years this month. Focus on non-traditional use cases of Splunk, typically. And first conf was in 2016. Some of the things I like to do is home brewer, beekeeper. Got a couple of hives in the backyard, a barbecuer, and fisherman. Sweepstakes, October 2021. 25 gift card gets you to the Splunk gift shop so you can get some of these awesome t-shirts. I'm rocking one right now along with my comp hoodie. Ends October 31st. There's 10 winners, one entry per person. Winners announced next month. So, a little bit about Grey's Academy. It's a three-part series. We are starting a little bit later today, but usually it starts right around 3 p.m. Eastern time. But since Conf's coming up, things are a little changed up for us this month. Um, the first Thursday, we go through Splunk 101. So, getting started with Splunk, figuring things out. And like exactly like what does that mean as far as uh, how to Splunk and learn the software. And that's what we generally do. We go through the 101 courses. Today, we are doing the second Thursday, proficiency level intermediate. Basically, you know the ropes of Splunk. You've spent some time. You've created your own dashboards, visualizations. You understand what's going on, but you may not be up to date on like some of the newest features and things like that. And that's generally what we go over today. And then the third Thursday is generally we focus on those non-traditional use cases, things that are outside of your typical use cases, and have fun with it. Just seeing how we can use Splunk. I think next week we might be doing stuff with IoT type data, manufacturing data, and bringing that data in via OPC. So if you want to see how that's done, please join us next week. And a little bit about the streaming theme. You ask me questions, figure things out, want to know more about, what's my favorite Power Ranger, favorite Splunk search command. Personally, mine's time chart. Some people say stats, but we all have our own preferences. We'll save some of the questions. And a little bit more about that theme. We like to have fun here. Today, we are actually going to be really leaning into this. This quote from Bob Ross: "We don't make mistakes; we make happy little accidents." We're going to have fun with the Dashboard Studio. I've got a kind of an outline about what we're going to do, but really we're just going to sit there, play, create some searches that kind of just build. We're not going to be doing any crazy searches, and then just make a visualization with the Dashboard Studio. Again, you're not here to watch me play games I've played before. You're here to kind of learn with me and learn how as we go. We do have some moderators here that kind of help out with some of the questions, giveaways, and make sure that I'm staying entertaining for all the people that have joined us today. So, real simple agenda today. We've done the intro. We're gonna jump into dashboarding, ask some questions and answers. So, if you've been to Splunk Conf, it's kind of an interactive experience. You get involved. Maybe I know the answer, maybe I don't. We'll get you somebody that help figure it out offline or some other means. So, let's get started. Give me a second while I switch over. It's always a fun experience switching. There we go. Make sure I turn it on so you guys can actually see my screen. Perfect, you can. All right. So let's have a little bit of fun. So, first things first, as we kind of get started, if you want to know more about the Dashboard Studio, just kind of go to splunk.com, Splunk Dashboard Studio, then the documentation. I'll link it in chat right now. So, if you want to kind of do your own investigation, I'll drop it in LinkedIn as well for everyone. And this is just kind of basically overview. If you want to do your own research, we're going to be following along with this kind of tutorial that we built internally. We're going to be doing it here with us today, and start investigating. We're going to basically try to build what we see on the right hand side. We might go off script. We might have some fun with some different visualizations. Let's just see where it takes us. All right. So search and reporting. And one of the first things that you know, well, skips tutorial, creating new dashboard. There's with this new feature, with the new versions of Splunk, has built-in Dashboard Studio automatically into it, and we also have the Classics Dashboard Studio, which was most people are familiar with, which is the simple XML. But with the Dashboard Studio, you get more freedom to kind of build and visualize things. But obviously, with that kind of freedom, sometimes things get a little bit more complex at times, but we're having fun, and we're going to show you and make those complexities not as complex. So just kind of want to show you the basic overview, and we'll just kind of go through this tutorial. So basically the learning objectives: add and configure data sources, charts, and inputs. Use the UI editor and source code editor. So basically we're going to be spending some time leveraging the UI editor and also the source code behind the scenes. Leverage dashboard defaults and add annotations to area charts and format individual table columns. Cool. Sounds good enough for me. Examples Hub. Provide examples of visualizations, inputs, data sources, defaults, and various configuration options. For example, line chart with dots for data points. Yeah, let's skip ahead. Let's get into business. All right, preparing your dashboard. Sketch out a dashboard on PowerPoint, something similar where we were planning and designing your dashboard. We've kind of already done that up there. That's what we kind of want to see. And I've already downloaded these dashboard samples. So we'll kind of look through there and we'll pick one of these out. I kind of like that one right there. So example is that name. Actually, we'll do 14. All right, so let's create a new dashboard. We'll call this Grays Academy 201. Make sure you select Dashboard Studio. We're going to keep this on private, and we're going to select Absolute today. Grid kind of locks things into place for us automatically, but I think for this tutorial, we're going to follow along with the Absolute feature. And go ahead and click Create. All right, so it looks like a couple of things have changed for us, and I might actually expand this so we can see the whole screen, so you may not actually see the documentation on the right. We'll just kind of go along and see what works best for this. All right, learn about the difference between Classic. Which version it started? I don't see this. That's correct. It started, I want to say, in early versions of 8, version 8 dot, I think it was 1 or 2. But if it's version 7.x, I'm not 100% positive, but if you go to splunkbase.com, Splunk, and at one point in time during those earlier versions, you could install the Dashboard Studio. I don't know if this is still true, but you can give it. Yeah, this is when it was like in beta form, and now it's been deployed into the Splunk instance. You can try it out. It may be an older version. For example, this hasn't been updated since December, so there might be new features with the new versions of Splunk as they come out. But you can install this in the 7.0 version, or at least follow along here to make sure that you can utilize those features. It's available in version Enterprise 8.2 and Cloud 8.1.2 as Dashboard Studio. So I hope that helps. All right. So we're just gonna kind of wing a little bit of this. We got the configuration dashboard on the right hand side, but they got it in dark mode. Think I can change it to dark mode. See if I can fix that. I know there's a way to adjust that, but we'll worry about that later. I like the fact that it's dark over there. I'm just one of those people that have figured. Oh, there it is. Light mode right there. Dark. All right. Um, so as we're looking through this, we've got a dashboard configuration. We've got kind of like a pixel layout. Going to adjust the canvas height, canvas width. So basically, depending on the type of screen you're going to want to put this on, you're going to need to know like the type of, let's say, if you're going to leverage like Splunk on, let's say, an Apple TV or something like that, you're going to need to know the dimensions of that screen that you're going to be putting up, because that will kind of affect things. Because once you start building things in like an absolute view, you really kind of need to start paying attention to that kind of that pixel height structure. And then the source code for Dashboard Studio is JSON based. Most configurations options will have or will eventually have UI. For options that do not have UI yet, you can still apply these customizations by specifying those options in the source code. There are 5 stanzas corresponding to our dashboard visualization. Dashboard visualizations, data sources, inputs, layouts, and defaults. Okay. Here they are kind of outlined for us. Visualization stanza will include information about the visualization on your dashboard, such as what type, area chart, data sources used, and what options are specified, like, for example, series and colors. The data sources stanza will include information about the data sources being used by the dashboard. This includes inline and ad hoc searches, saved searches, reports, and base chain searches. Unlike in simple XML dashboards, data sources exist as entities separate from the visualization or input they are tied to. This means given data sources can be used back and forth in multiple objects. Okay, so basically what that means is in this new visualization studios, you have objects that exist as searches. So searches in the visualization aren't necessarily tied together. So you can create a search that can drive multiple different dashboards, because a lot of the times you want the same search to then define multiple different graphs, whether it's a pie chart, bar chart, or even then do cascading searches as well. So you can have a search that drives a search that drives a search. All more focused on like compute and resources on the back end. So that's kind of one of the neat things about this. And so we may tie into that, jump into that a little bit, and you can kind of see that as we go. The input stanza will include information about the inputs on your dashboard, such as the type, i.e. multi-select, what the default value should be, what the token name should be, and what data sources it to use if applicable. Layout. The layout stanza defines canvas settings, background color, canvas size, and where the visualization and input should be displayed. For example, if the visualization stanza, you would specify what you want a multi-series area chart. In the layout stanza, you will specify where you want the chart to be displayed on the canvas. For example, the XY position. So like this is basically like, tell me about what this visualization looks like, what information, what type it is, and so forth. All right, let's get started. All right, create your dashboard. All right, create an absolute dashboard from the dashboard tab in the search and reporting. Notice that your dashboard has a time range picker. By default, all new dashboards will have a global time range picker, and all ad hoc searches will default to using this global time range picker. So, we changed it to dark mode. Already did that. Change the display mode to fit to width. Display mode, where is that? I might have to see if that's okay. Fit to, so let's see if that popped up. If I can pop that over. Okay, there we go. So fit to width. Increase the canvas width by 150 to 15,000 or 1,500 pixels, and add your own background image. Use the URL if the GA version. If using the beta app, you can follow along here. Change the image settings from contain to cover. All right, so what we're gonna do, where is that? Add your background image to the chart. Background image, okay. I'm actually gonna pick one of those images we found from uh, the documentation, or one of the downloaded earlier. So let me just kind of make sure. I think it was the 14-minute. See what that looks like. All right. Perfect. Okay, so we actually might want to switch it back to the 200 so it kind of fits. Perfect. Actually, they were saying that I can say resize and move the contain to cover. Okay, yeah, that's what we want to do. Background contain to cover. Perfect. That's what we want. We want to be able to view it like that. Make sure no questions are coming in. All right. So change the image settings from contain to cover. Add the data center image by clicking the image button in the toolbar and adding to the URL. So we're going to click on the image button. And if you're using the GA version, let's see if this, ooh, I might have to be, yeah, let me copy it from over here. I remember this last time we went through it. So this isn't the first time that I've done this demo, but we didn't really get quite as through it as much as I wanted to on the last Splunk 2, the Grays Academy 201. So that's why we are going through it this time, because I really want to kind of get further along and just have some fun with it. We had Lizzie on from the product team come and help us out last time. All right, so add the data center image by clicking on the image button in the toolbar and adding the URL. Enter URL. Beautiful, beautiful. And then resize the image and move the approximately 1910 or 910 10 by 570. And next, add the three rectangulars that are approximately 300 pixels with black background and transparent border. Okay. Let's just set this right about here. I'm going to scroll up and see how we're looking comparatively real quick to some of our other visualizations. All right, looking good, looking good. I think it's a little bit further down over here. Yeah, there we go. All right, the next instructions say, next add three rectangles are approximately 300. So I think if I just do a rectangle, we got one of these that's like, no, those are charts, icons. Okay, rectangle. Okay, there we go. And we wanted to have those 300 by 180. Oh, not position. 300. Excuse me. Resize and approximately. Next, add three. Okay, we did that with black background and transparent border. So fill border, and we want transparent. And you can clone it, so we'll do that. Okay, so which one of these is clone? Okay, that's that little button underneath. So we got the layers and then the three buttons there. So we'll click clone. We should get three of those. Perfect. And get another one of those. I am running this on a within a remote desktop, so if you see a little bit of lag, I think that's probably my internet connection going back and forth, and maybe not maybe a little lean on the resources, but should be good. All right, next, and it should look like this. All right, so. I'm gonna expand this out just a smidge. Oh, we gotta make some room over here on the left-hand side as well. So let's say fit. All right, perfect. You might start seeing some of my OCD coming through here, but I'll try to have some fun without spending too much time focus on the minutia with this. So we'll move forward. So I didn't think okay, I got to add one more rectangle on the right hand side, but the same type of. So we'll come over here, rectangle, and we're gonna just pop that one and drop that right about there. Again, don't get too excited about the alignment. I know, but we don't want to spend too much time. Just focus on my alignment the whole time. All right. Um, yeah, as a kid, if you want to talk about questions as a kid, like one of the things that like what was the one thing that like everybody was like loves to do as like a 3 or 4 year old is like coloring. And coloring is not the thing that I enjoy. So you might see that coming through here as that like design. It's more of like the perfectionist that I can't handle. Like, see, I can't even just let those be because I have to get them perfect. All right, move forward, Gray. All right, add a single value from, oh, we got to set this to transparent as well. So let's do that real quick. Get it? Yeah, got it. All right, so add a single value from the visualization menu, name the search power utility. All right, so add a single value from the visualization menu. All right, come down here, I think there it is, single value, boom. That should drop in there. And name the search power util. And I'm going to copy the search from a different screen, but it's basically the same one. And if you want, you can just kind of drop in, see exactly. You can see them and copy over at a later time. And these will be saved on YouTube, I think, for a little bit, so you can come back and watch them later at a later time. All right, done that. Open. Okay, so perfect. And now it says open the code drawer at the bottom to view the source code for this data source. Change the data source ID to ds underscore power util. Okay, so data source. Let's make sure I get this right. All right, actually, let's go ahead and click run and save. And we see that pop up. Perfect. Okay, now I think what we want to do is come down here to code and where open the code drawer at the bottom to view the source code for this data source. Change the data source ID to D. See? All right, so I gotta figure. Oh, visualization ID right there. I remember this. Data source ID. Open the code drawer at the bottom to view the source code for this data source. All right, let's come back here. Click on this. And okay, there we go. Power util. Look at the code. Data source ID is right there. Data source, okay, data source ID right there. I was just missing it right there. And we can name this power util. And run and save. Perfect. Resize and move the visualization so it fits inside the first black rectangle and shorten it so there's room to add a text box. Okay, so we'll come over here and we gotta shrink this down a little bit. Okay. Now the question I have is that supposed to fit? How's that supposed to fit inside of this? So make sure it looks right. All right. So it's supposed to fit pretty closely. All right. And then add a text box to the title Power Utilization and adjust the font size to position to your liking. My liking. All right, so let's shorten this a little bit. And we're going to add a text box. Perfect. And what do we want to call this one? Power Utilization. No, thank you, Grammarly. Perfect. I think I want to change this background of the underlying box real quick. We're going to do that for all of these and make it. I wonder how I can do that. Let's see if we can static background. We'll just copy the static background real quick. I think if I come over here and I fill this static background. Perfect. Okay, that's what I wanted to see. Make these all match in color. Again, I told you we might be focused a little bit at times on some of the nuances, but we'll get there. I'm going to come over here and adjust these colors too. See if I can do multiple ones. No, not yet. But that's no big deal. Perfect. Okay. So, add the text box, power utilization. Yeah, we did that. All right, let me switch over so you can see, follow along in the documentation with me real quick so you can see. Whoop. All right, by default, so we're right here on 12. By default, all visualizations will show up updated X minutes ago. To change this default settings, you'll have to adjust to this in the source code. Under the default stanza, change show last updated to false. Okay. All right, so by default, all visualizations. So we're going to come down here to code and where it says visualizations, this might actually be inside of the data source code. Change the text box for the title power. Okay, wait. Okay, let's see if we can figure this out. Again, remember, we're learning with Gray on this one. We're figuring this out as we go along together. All right. So, under the defaults, see, I feel like I'm missing something here. I've got that one selected. And then visualization. If not, we'll move forward, keep going. We don't want to waste all of our time here. Let's just have some fun as we go along. All right. Not find it. So let's go. Let's move forward. All right. Color the spark line area in the graph to stroke the same color as the trend line. Click on the visualization. Open the drawer at the bottom of the configuration panel. Update the visualization ID to visual power util to make it easier. Color the spark line area graph stroke. Click on the visualization and open the code drawer. Okay. Okay. Usage visualizations. You know what? As I'm looking at this, I'm thinking all I have to do is drop that code in there. Let's have some fun. Let's figure it out. Okay, because right now we're looking at the code and it says usage is one visualization. So let's type in Power Global. All right, let's move on. So color the sparkline area and stroke of the same color as the trend line. Click on the visualization and open the code drawer at the bottom of the configuration panel and update the visualization ID to Power Viz Util. Okay, so let's just come over here and we got to change this visualization ID to Viz Power Util. Okay. Okay, perfect. Make it easier to find in the source code. You can complete the following steps in the code drawer or in the full. Okay, so if I come in here and I think if I look at the full code, I can see the full code right here. Okay, now I'm seeing where I wasn't looking at the right spot. All right, so visualization. So we need to look up so remember we talked about the visualizations, viz, global, inputs, show last updated, false. Input global inputs. So I'm going through these and understanding each of these different levels because it's been a little bit. Visualizations. Okay. Default standards. Perfect. All right. So we're going to move down to the fourth one. I need to move on. Under the options, you see you can under options you see the trend display options. See trend display color. Okay, let's just copy that. Okay, options. Wait, I haven't made this into Sparkline yet. Let's just click back real quick. All right. So let's focus on add another single value visualization. And what we're going to do is click on single value and name it water. Okay. Name water. And pipe drop that search in. And in the code drawer ID, say ds_water. Okay. So save that in the ID in the code drawer. One second. Okay. All right. All right, so if I'm looking at this, it says add this data source. Let's just delete this one and start it real quick. And from here, we're gonna give it, so we call this name is water into the SPL. Code drawer. That's what I missed that step. DS water. Perfect. And resize and place that second box, leaving room for the type. Perfect. Oh yeah, and if you want to see some examples of Dashboard Studio, let me go ahead and click Save real quick. If you want to see more examples, so if you come up and you go to, whoops, put that back there. If you come over to Dashboards, and then you go to Examples for Dashboard Studio, you can just click on that. It'll take you into a hub, so you can see examples and see some of these behind the scenes. Start like looking at that code to adjust the visualizations the way you want to. So these are just the example visualizations. Then there's also some completed dashboards as well to kind of follow along with and dig in a little bit. All right. Resize and place the second box, leaving room for the title box. Add the text box water capacity. Perfect. If you want the same format size, prioritization, clone the text. We don't need to do that. We got already done that. You may notice the font size is smaller or larger. You can manually specify the major value size, for example, 64, and the trend size 24. Specify in the trend position. So for example, our numbers over here are a little bit different. Trend size, so you can then kind of just adjust the specific pixel size. Ooh, so you can see that changed that automatically for us. Let's say 15. Yeah. So if you wanted to hard code it so it wasn't like dynamically created, you can do that for yourself as well. Let's change that to 36 or something like that. I think for example, 64 over here. Actually, I think that's supposed to be 24. We'll just leave it at 24 and move on. Cool. All right, let's make a different visualization. We've already seen those. Water capacity, single value should look like this. Room temperature, perfect. All right, let's add the text box for your current time and place it in the top right corner of the back rectangle. So add another single value visualization to the data source. And clean that up. And I need to grab that code over here. Results, call this time. And then it says the ID. So we're creating a new data source ID. Oh, I got an extra colon in there. Perfect. All right, so we'll click run and save, and you should see that time pop up there. So perfect. And while in the code drawer, so time, code drawer, and we want to add, okay, I've got this one. So we've got our query, and then we're gonna drop in this extra code so it refreshes for us automatically. And if I look at this, I go to the end here. If I paste it, click save. And now it should be update. Yep, it automatically updates for us. That's cool. So that's one way of how to do refresh automatically for you. So it basically runs the search in the background. Okay, so one of the things, while we got a few minutes left, I wanted to show you kind of what we were talking about, the searches behind the scenes. So we have power util, which is that search there, the water search, which represents there, and then we have the time. So you can see how you can create a chain search. So let's say, for example, I wanted to take the results from, let's say, water capacity, and then let's say eval water equals water times, let's just say 2. And then basically what that does is just creates a chain search for us to basically do calculations. If you have one base search that drives a lot of dashboards, that's one way you can kind of do that. And then I could drop this search. Not that it really means anything, but we'll see if it would. See real quick. Drop that single value. Cancel, and then select that one. And now, oops, I picked the wrong one. And my search. All right. And so you can kind of see how you would drive the chains of those back and forth. Click run and save, and resave fit under. Okay. Area chart with annotations wire up to text input. So add an area chart with a following source. Okay, so area, and we're going to name it power use. I'm going to copy the SPL from a different screen. Ooh, that's a long search. And that. And we call that in ds underscore power. ds underscore power, run and save. Perfect. So now we can see this visualization. We'll kind of zoom it in just a little bit. Title this one power usage. Change the stack mode to stacked in second option. So let's kind of zoom in so you can see what we're following with here. Change the stack mode to stack. All right, stack mode to stacked. And move and resize it so it fits under the time visualization from the last section. All right. Perfect. And okay, so move and resize it from the last section. This step can be done from the code or when step 5. When viewing the source of code, you can easily see, oh, so basically if you want to change the stack mode, you can also do it from, or okay, so this step can be done in the code drawer or full source mode. When visualizing the source code for the chart, you can use chart.stack mode and add the rest in bold, okay? And what we're trying to do is kind of add some additional information. Oh, we're changing the colors associated to it. Okay, so we'll copy that over. And if we click here, and then we go to code, should see options. Chart, okay, so there we go, options, chart.stacked. And then we go to the end. Make sure we drop a comma in there. And then paste. Looks like I gotta do a little bit of syntax fixing real quick. So if I look at this, I just tab those over. Actually, it looks like it's not yelling at me anymore. Oops. Shouldn't matter, but you know, we're here. And if we come in here and we click away, we should see those colors change for us now. Perfect. And your dashboard should look something like this. Something like this. Remember, like I said, the coloring isn't my forte. See if we have any questions. All right, annotations are supported. For line and chart area, to add an annotation, you must have data source for that annotation, which returns the following fields. Field that corresponds to the x-axis on the line or area chart, you want to overlay your annotation, typically like this. Optional. Perfect. All right. Add a data source. Okay. Data source named annotation. Create search. I copy this SPL over from the other screen. Down here, and we have to change the data source ID to DS annotation. Okay, let's click save. Okay. You can do the step in the code drawer or in the full source code. Current annotations can be only added to charts in source code, the open source code of your chart area. Under the data source selection, you will add the annotation in the data source in bold. Okay. So if I come in here under the data source section, so look at all the code real quick. And we're going to look for data sources. So we should have a couple of these, and we're going to look for ds underscore power. So ds primary underscore power, and annotation, should we need to add another one there? All right, we'll copy that over. And you will add a new section called encoding, which will map the fields from the annotation search to the annotation marker on the chart area. Suggesting best practices to wire your searches up to a table visualization to ensure you're seeing the results you expect. The source code for your power usage area should look like this. I think that's, yeah, power viz.area options. Okay, power use viz. And then we have to drop data sources encoding. Okay. All right, so if I'm looking at this data sources, title power usage. So I'm looking at this, I can drop this right here. And perfect, back. Okay. And wire up a text to annotate your messages. Actually, we're getting a little close on time, so we'll go ahead and wrap things up today. So let me go ahead and switch things back over. We do have a couple of other things to kind of mention. Let me go ahead and share that Chrome tab with you. And make sure that I actually show you that screen today. As we are looking at this and moving forward, again, if you're interested in seeing more information like this with Gray's Academy 201, please feel free to fill or to find or to put in the survey drop in saying what you liked about it, what you didn't like, what you like to see more. I actually dropped the survey in chat right now for you. So you can see that survey. And last but not least, Conf is next week. Please sign up. Come check us out. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of special guests. And I really recommend coming and seeing it. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of new things, and look forward to seeing you there. And thank you all for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your day.